What's up, everybody? Mac is back, and I'm on an attack. And this attack is going to be on precious metal dealers and anybody else on YouTube or anywhere else that keeps mentioning the gold-silver ratio history-wise is 16, 15 to 1. Not saying it wasn't true, obviously it's true. Time frame of when that was true, more than 100 years ago, late 1800s, maybe a few times in the early 1900s, but seriously, 5,000 years ago, Mike Maloney, 5,000 years gold-silver ratio, 16 to 1, and history-wise, really. Don't think so, Mike Maloney. If you add all these new years that we put together, it's going to be higher than 15 to 1, 16 to 1. Back in Egypt days, gold and silver was 1 to 1. Okay? And that came from your mouth, Mike Maloney. That's how I found out about Egypt time. 1 to 1 ratio. And then it went up to 4 to 1, 12 to 1, and then worked its way up to 16 to 1. And those were a long time ago. Hundreds of years, thousands of years, but not in our time frame. And that's what this video is about. Gold to silver ratio in our time. Okay? Which nobody ever talks about. Never ever hear this talked about. Which is why I gotta shake things up. Love silver. I'm not bashing silver at all. You guys know I love silver. But I just like to talk about things that nobody else talks about and to get to clear the air of these myths. Now, as I did in my first gold to silver ratio, from 1900 to 2009, it came out to be 48 to 1 ratio. Not 16 to 1, 48 to 1. Okay? Got two better ones for you. First one, when we got off the gold standard in 1971 to 2013 today. Gold silver ratio in that time frame, 53 to 1. Got one even better. You might want to sit down, crack open a cold beer, because you're going to need it after this one. I did when I found that out. From 1990 to 2013. In a 23-year span, okay, which is probably a longer period of time than somebody that's watching this video. Gold-silver ratio from 1990 to 2013, or should I say in the last 23 years, is 66 to 1. Damn, man, you're Mike Maloney, Chris Dwayne talking about that one, or anybody else on YouTube. I don't want to keep bashing their names because I respect both of them. But they're brainwashing. They're brainwashing you, becoming thick-headed and pushing everybody else's theories out the window. You can't push my theory out the window because it's not a theory, it's a fact. Okay? That's why I'm trying to wake you up. In our lifetime, 66 to 1. Last 23 years. I'm going to go back a little bit further. Let's go to 71. Till now. Just said it before, 53 to 1. Okay? Now, how is Mike Maloney going to go in a news conference and try to get all these big investors to spend millions of dollars, and him coming out as the years got older or went along, that the gold-silver ratio went further apart as time went on? Back then, start out 1 to 1 Egypt. Then 4 to 1, 12 to 1, 15, 16 to 1. Last 109 years, 48 to 1. The last 40 plus years, 53 to 1. The last 23 years, 66 to 1. How you gonna sell silver and hype silver over gold if the ratio keeps separating further and further in time? Did anybody ever figure that one out? Hey, I'm not mocking silver. I love it. I'm investing in it the same way you guys are. Okay? It's a great inflation hedge. It'll store your wealth through a long period of time. There's no debate on that. The whole world knows that. Okay? That's not the subject of this video, not the topic. We all know that. What I'm trying to get through you guys is the true value of the gold-silver ratio in our lifetime. That you won't hear from them. They can't come up and tell you that. It doesn't make them look good. Or once they make them look good, it doesn't make the metals that they're selling that good, or at least the silver aspect. Silver has great qualities over gold. There's no question. It's not only cheaper. They can scrounge some way to somehow to get silver over good gold. It raises in value much faster than gold in certain periods of time. Okay? But it also crashes a lot harder than gold in certain times. Gold's more stable. Doesn't take the beating like silver does. It's a more stable metal for holding your wealth. Okay? Always has, and always will be. I think the banks keep storing it. Big countries like China, Russia, India, and everybody else storing it. And if gold wasn't the most stable metal, why is it used to back the currency? Why don't they just do the silver, like China did years ago? So, 66-1 the ratio. And the only way, I believe truly, I mean, I would like to have it 16-1. I believe it should be 16-1. But it's not. Okay? It hasn't been in our lifetime. Okay? So don't believe the hype. Don't be brainwashed anymore. I'm going to try to get you out of this trance that you're in. Okay? 66-1. Needs to be sticking in your head. 66-1. What's the ratio today? 60-1. So if you want to go by the value of gold and silver through the ratio, silver is not undervalued. Slightly still overvalued. But 60-1 should be 66-1 is the average in the last 23 years, right? But if you want to go price-wise, yes, it is undervalued, but I believe so. Like everybody else watching this video believes so. I believe it should be about $75 to $150 an ounce. My personal view. Okay? How did I get to those prices? Well, from the 1 ounce of silver to the average price of a home. That's what I go by. And I heard that in one of the videos, which I got to do the research on it. And really check it out through the years before I make a video on it. Get a little bit more stats on it. Really haven't gotten too much involved in it. But it seemed pretty accurate to me by the silver to house ratio, or the house price ratio. And that's where silver should be by that stat alone. So that's where I believe silver should be, 75 to 150 in that range for the house prices. But it's not. And there's many reasons to be that. I mean, we can say manipulation of the markets, which we know that's very true with the JP Morgan. This can print up these fake ETF SLV papers with no silver backing it whatsoever, and the people buy them don't care about the silver. They're in for the profit of the money, okay, not the silver. So I'm sure that has a good part of keeping the price down, but it's not the only. Okay, you know what else is? Think for a second. What is silver really used a lot in? Oh yeah, industrial use. Right? electronics is really the number one aspect, probably, right? Yeah, electronics has really been booming the last decade, 2 decades. So, if you were an Apple owner, if you own Apple, or Sony, Panasonic, Samsung, all those big names, would you want to buy, let's say you had to buy 1,000,000 ounces of silver at a time to handle all the products you're making? Would you want to buy gold? Means would you want to buy silver at $50 an ounce or $20 an ounce? You tell me all those billionaires aren't having a big conference and finding a way how to keep silver at $20 an ounce when you need to buy millions of ounces at a time for your products? You wouldn't do the same thing? I know I would. I don't want silver anywhere near $50 if I gotta buy a couple million ounces at a time, or if I'd only buy 1,000 ounces. If it's not investment purposes like for us, they want it cheap as possible. Silver goes down to $10 an ounce, those guys might be jumping up and down for joy as we're crying. I'm telling you. And we would be the same way if we were the owners of Apple. It's common sense, it's the economics of business. Okay? Buying cheap products or buying cheap material to build your products. It's the name of the game, the most profit. Okay? Cheap silver, more profit in your pocket. Very simple. So that's my analogy on why silver is also in the low 20s, which is ridiculous, but that's what the gold silver ratio is. 66 average, it's 60, so it's right in the ballpark where it should be. And all those manufacturer companies, those corporations want to keep it low. JP Morgan wants to keep it low. Federal Reserve wants to keep it low because this is against the dollar. It's going against their currency. Okay? This is why we're buying it, to protect ourselves, to back us up. This is our last line of defense from going into poverty. Not saying we still won't, but if something goes down and this is the only thing that has any wealth, the 1% who did invest in it, it's going to be mighty, mighty proud. So this is the end of the video, and I just want to clarify that to you. This gold silver ratio in our time, the last 23 years, is 66 to 1. If you're going to go back since the gold standard stopped, it's 53 to 1. The last 109 years, 48 to 1. So I'm ending the video now, and just wanted to clarify that with everybody here. So hopefully you guys understand this video a lot better and understand what I'm talking about on this gold silver ratio. It is terrible that I never knew this from the beginning, but it is what it is. Not like I still want to buy all the silver that I got. It's not that I wouldn't buy any more gold than I got. I just wish I knew the facts ahead of time instead of these people twisting the truth and not telling us the whole truth. Manipulating the truth, should I say. So here I am telling you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please add your comments. I'm always here to listen, and everybody else share their thoughts. That's why I have this channel, and everybody have a good day. Thank you.